Imagine looking out the window of your flight. You are 16,000 feet in the air. Suddenly, the wall next to you rips open into the freezing void. That is exactly what happened on Alaska Airlines Flight 1282. The pressure change was violent. It tore the shirts off passengers. It sucked phones out into the night sky. But the most terrifying part isn't the gaping hole in the fuselage. It is what that hole represents. This was not just a loose bolt. It was not a simple maintenance error. It was the explosive symptom of a corporate rot. We are witnessing the dismantling of a legacy, bolt by bolt. But before we talk about the machines, we must talk about the people. Specifically, the people who tried to warn us. In 2024, the story took a grim turn. It felt more like a Hollywood thriller than corporate news. John Barnett was a veteran quality manager. He had been exposing serious defects for years. He was in the middle of a legal deposition against the company. Then, he was found dead in his truck. Authorities said he ended his own life, but the timing sent shockwaves through the aviation world. His lawyers stated he was in good spirits. They said he had no reason to take that path. Just 2 months later, another tragedy occurred. Joshua Dean was a whistleblower who flagged defects at a major supplier. He suddenly fell ill. He passed away from a fast-moving infection. He was young, healthy, and fit. Reports state these were isolated tragedies, yet the pattern sent a chilling message. The culture of fear was palpable. But even the silence couldn't hide the chaos on the factory floor. The investigation into that door plug revealed something hard to believe. It was a level of incompetence that defies logic. Investigators went looking for the records. They needed to see who opened the door plug. They needed to know why the bolts were never put back. They found absolutely nothing. The documentation did not exist. In the high-stakes world of aviation, there is a rule. If it isn't written down, it didn't happen. The investigation exposed a paperless factory. Speed was the only metric that mattered. Workers were allegedly removing critical safety components. Then they were forgetting to replace them. No one bothered to log the work. It was a factory running on memory and haste. They were gambling with the structural integrity of passenger jets. But the lack of paperwork was just the tip of the iceberg. The way they were building the planes was even more disturbing. Enter Sam Sailpour. He is an engineer who testified before Congress. His details should make every flyer nervous. He revealed a massive issue with the 787 Dreamliner. It involved shimming. When fuselage sections don't line up perfectly, workers must use thin fillers. These are called shims. Instead, Sailpour claimed workers were using force. They were literally jumping on pieces of the fuselage to force them into alignment. By skipping the shims, they were creating invisible stress fractures. He warned that over time, this stress could be fatal. The fuselage could simply break apart mid-air. It was a ticking time bomb built into the very bones of the aircraft. And the company responsible for building these fuselages? That is a financial horror story all on its own. Decades ago, Boeing sold off its Wichita factory. It became Spirit Aerosystems. They pocketed about $900 million. It seemed like a smart financial move. Then quality control drove off a cliff. Reports surfaced of mechanics finding tools inside the wings. They found debris. They even found soda bottles sealed inside finished aircraft. The quality issues became catastrophic. The aviation giant had to scramble to buy the company back. They had to fix the mess they created. The price tag? A staggering $8.3 billion. They sold their own quality control for a quick buck. Years later, they paid 10 times that amount to buy back a broken mess. This financial absurdity highlighted a grim reality. The company was run by accountants, not engineers. This incompetence wasn't just grounded on Earth. It managed to fail in orbit, too. The Starliner mission was supposed to be the redemption arc. It was the moment they proved they could still innovate. It was meant to ferry astronauts to the International Space Station. Instead, it became a global humiliation. Thrusters failed. Helium leaks sprung up. The capsule managed to dock, but it was damaged goods. NASA deemed it too dangerous to bring the astronauts home. Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams were left stranded on the station. They watched their ride leave empty. The ultimate insult came shortly after. NASA announced they were hiring SpaceX to bring them home. The rival had eclipsed the old giant. It was the definitive symbol of a fallen titan. But to understand how a company falls this far, we must look back. We have to look at the internal culture that started it all. The rot was exposed years ago during the 737 MAX crisis. Internal text messages were released during investigations. They showed pilots and employees trashing their own creation. One message famously described the plane. It was designed by clowns who were supervised by monkeys. They mocked regulators. They boasted about using Jedi mind tricks on the FAA. They wanted to remove safety descriptions from the manuals. Why? To save money on simulator training. They hid the existence of the MCAS system. That was the very system that forced two planes into fatal nosedives. It was profit over safety in its purest, darkest form. When the law finally caught up with them, the outcome was bitter. In July 2024, the company avoided a public trial. They agreed to a sweetheart deal. They pleaded guilty to a criminal fraud conspiracy charge. The headline sounds bad, but it was a strategic move to close the book. They agreed to pay a fine. They agreed to invest in safety. But for the families of the 346 people lost, it was a slap in the face. They felt justice was bought off. The executives responsible would never truly answer for the culture they created. It was a sterile end to a bloody chapter. We have watched the descent of an icon. This company once defined the golden age of aviation. It was an engineering firm run by engineers. They built the safest machines in the sky. Now it appears to be a company run by lawyers. They are desperately trying to plug leaks in their reputation. The terrifying question isn't about stock prices or plea deals. It is about the thousands of planes currently flying above our heads. They were built during this era of chaos and silence. Have we seen the last disaster? Or, given what we know now, is it just a matter of time?